Chatbots are surprisingly effective at debunking conspiracy theories. Turn out many believers to respond positively when presented with the right evidence and arguments. It's become a truism that facts alone don't change people's minds. Perhaps nowhere is this more clear than when it comes to conspiracy theories. Many people believe that you can't talk conspiracies out of their beliefs, but that's not necessarily true. It turns out that many conspiracy believers do respond to evidence and argument, information that is now easy to deliver in the form of a tailored conversations with an AI chatbot. In research we published in the journal Science this year, we had over 2,000 conspiracy believers engaged in a roughly 8-minute conversations with DebunkBot, a model we built on top of OpenAI's GPT-4 Turbo, the most up-to-date GPT model at that time. Participants began by writing out in their own words a conspiracy theory that they believe and the evidence that made the theory compelling to them. Then we instructed the AI model to persuade the users to stop believing in that conspiracy and adopt a less conspiratorial view of the world. A 3-round back and forth tech chats with the AI model lasting 8.4 minutes on average lead to a 20% decrease in participant confidence in the belief, and about 1 in 4 participants, all of whom believed the conspiracy theory beforehand, indicate that they did not believe it after the conversations. This effect held true for both classic conspiracy like the JFK assassinations of the moon landing hoax and more contemporary politically charged ones like those related to 2020 election and COVID-19. This story is part of MIT Technology Review series, The New Conspiracy, each on how the present boom in conspiracy theories in receive science and technology. This is good news given the outside role that unfounded conspiracy theories play in today's political landscape. So while there are a widespread and legitimate concern that generative AI is a potent tool for spreading disinformation, our work shows that it can also be part of the solution. Even people who began the conversations absolutely certain that their conspiracy was true, or who indicated that it was highly important to their personal worldview. So the marked decrease in belief, remarkably, the effects were very durable. We followed up with participants who 2 months later and saw just as big reductions in conspiracy beliefs immediately after the conversation. Our experiments indicate that many believers are relatively rational but misinformed, and getting them timely, accurate facts that can have a big impact. Conspiracy theory can make sense to reasonable people who have simply never heard clear, non-conspiratorial explanations for the events they are fixated on. This may seem surprising, but many conspiratorial claims, while wrong, seem reasonable on the surface and require specialized esoteric knowledge to evaluate and debunk. For example, 9 out of 11 deniers often point to the claim that jet fuel doesn't burn hot enough to melt steel as evidence that airplanes were not responsible for bringing down the Twin Tower, but the chatbot responds by pointing out that although this is true, the American Institute of Steel Construction says jet fuel does burn hot enough to reduce the strength of steel by over 50%, which is more than enough to cause such towers to collapse. Although we have greater access to factual information than ever before, it's extremely difficult to search that vast corpus of knowledge efficiency. Finding the truth that way requires knowing what to Google or who to listen to and being sufficiently motivated to seek out conflicting information. There are large time and skill barriers to conducting such a search every time we hear a new claim, and so it's easy to take conspiratorial content you stumble upon a face value. And most would-be debunkers at the Thanksgiving table make elementary mistake that AI advice. Do you know the melting point and tensile strength of steel offhand? And when your relative calls you an idiot while trying to correct you, are you able to maintain your composure with enough effort? Humans would almost certainly be able to research and deliver facts like the AI in our experiment. And in a follow-up experiment, we found that the AI debunking was just as effective if we told participants they were talking to an expert rather than an AI. So it's not that the debunking effect is AI specific. Generally speaking, facts and evidence delivered by humans could also work, but it would require a lot of time and concentrations for a human to come up with those facts. Generative AI can do the cognitive labor of fact checking and rebutting conspiracy claims much more efficiently. In another large follow-up experiment, we found that what drove the debunking effect was specifically the fact and evidence the model provided. Factors like letting people know the chatbot were going to try to talk them out their beliefs didn't reduce it ethically, whereas telling the model to try to pursue its pattern without using facts and evidence totally eliminates the effect. Although the folly and hallucinations of these models are well documented, our results suggest that debunking efforts are widespread enough on the internet to keep the conspiracy-focused conversations broadly accurate. When we hired a professional fact-checker to evaluate GPT-4's claims, they found that over 99% of the claims were read as true and not politically biased. Also, in the few cases where participants named conspiracy that turned out to be true, like MK UNCHAD, the CIA's Human Experimentations program from the